capturing now. So, my name is Lee Dempster, and I will be interviewing Ms. Sherfy today. So, my first question is, uh, what? Why do Academy students go to Ball State?
Why do they go to Ball State? I think it's a number of reasons, and yet different reasons for different people. I think one, familiarity. I think, once you've spent 2 years here, you get comfortable with the place. You also get acquainted with all the things that Ball State offers that maybe entice you. Um, it could obviously be, it has the major that you want to study, and a ranked program. That's always important. Being an in-state school and living in Indiana, obviously, is cost.
Yeah.
Is somewhat in the ballpark or in the running as far as an undergrad degree. And also, I know that Ball State, they do offer our kids an Indiana Academy Scholarship. Now, granted, that's not an automatic for all Academy students. However, they do evaluate our students a little differently than they evaluate the rest of the population. So our kids have some good opportunities as far as scholarships here.
All right. What is the most important factor, would you say?
In terms of Ball State or the
In terms of Ball
Academy?
State.
Well, I might be a little biased as a Ball State grad. But once again, I'm going to say the familiarity. I mean, as an Academy student, you definitely have access to all of Ball State's resources. So obviously, the transition from high school to college, if you stay here at Ball State, there's really not a learning curve, so to speak, because you've already been acquainted to, like, say, Bracken Library. You already know how to use the library. You know where things are located. You've had 2 years of eating the dining food. So, I mean, I'm just going to say maybe the familiarity.
Do you think that the familiarity could take away from the experience of going to Ball State?
No, I don't. Because I think, as an Academy student, obviously, even though you have access to Ball State's resources, I mean, to be quite honest, your world consists of the Academy. I mean, obviously, as a high school student, Academy student, there's a lot of rules and regulations you have to be accounted for almost 24/7. The people that you're going to interact with are usually Academy students, Academy teachers. Once you leave the Academy and, let's say, go to Ball State as a college student, believe it or not, there are going to be some vast differences. The biggest one, I think, is freedom. You no longer have to be accountable for the most part, as far as where you're at. And then not only that, I mean, you're going from, like, your class right now has 122 students. So you're going from, a class of 122 and a school of, let's say, a little under 300 to a campus that has over 18,000. I mean, so obviously you're going to be exposed to a new variety of groups, organizations, people, temptations, I mean, all of that. And then, of course, you take out the responsibility of having to use a checkout card. So, no, I don't think being here as an Academy student ruins, transitioning to a Ball State student.
Do you think that a college such as like Purdue or IU would offer the same familiarity as Ball State?
I mean, for the most part, yes. I mean, obviously, the schools that you mentioned are all state institutions, so I think for the most part they're going to be run about the same. You're probably going to notice that a lot of their classes are going to be set up in the manner of Ball State. But as far as subtle things are going to be different. There might be some different clubs at one university versus another. As far as the whole campus setup, as far as where your dorm's located versus where you have to walk to get to your classes. The whole maybe dining services might, setup might be a little different. But, I think after a week at any of those institutions, I'm sure it's not going to be real hard to,
Adjust.
Yes.
Does going to the academy help transition into Ball State?
I
Would you
think
say?
it helps transition just for the college, just for college in general, and not just Ball State. I think here at the academy, you've learned some valuable life lessons. I think that's going to make you more successful in college. Obviously, you've definitely refined your time management skills. I mean, you have to get up when you don't feel like getting up, and you have to go to the class. You've learned to, set aside time to study. You've learned to live with someone that you don't necessarily know very well, or maybe not have a whole lot in common with. You learn to survive, you learn to adjust. You also learn to be more accepting of people who may not be just like you. So, and then also I think here at the academy, in terms of the academic rigorousness, I think definitely more prepared for any type of college setting.
Uh, do you believe that because of being exposed to these different cultures, as you said, um, that will change in college? Do you believe it's
No.
less cultured or more?
Well,
Same?
I think we're pretty diverse here, and because we're such a small, close knit group, whether we want to be or not. I think we are. We kind of. I don't know. I think we learn more in terms of how people live and think in terms of different types of cultures or values. I think once you get to college, obviously group size are going to be much bigger. Um, they're right outside there. But I don't think it's going to be any different. I just think the groups or the cliques are just going to be the group sizes are going to be a little bigger.
Okay. Well, that exhausted basically all my questions.
Okay.
Do you have anything that you want to add concerning like students coming from the academy and going to Ball State and like reasons?
Well, I don't know so much want to add as far as, the correlation between academy students and Ball State. Sometimes I think academy students tend to neglect what's in their own backyard. I'm not saying, it's just like we tell kids sometimes that the academy isn't everything to everybody. Ball State's not going to be the right fit for everybody. However, I think sometimes we dismiss looking at what Ball State has to offer because because we've lived here for 2 years, we think we know everything. And I think that's a shame, because I just think Ball State is definitely not a university to overlook.
All right. Well, thank you.
You're welcome.
Do you mind if I come back later if I have more questions?
Not at all.
All right. Thank you.
You're welcome.